All right, today's all about tuning my box. So gonna be slowly opening up my port. Sorry about the bark. So slowly opening my port until I get to the loudest output using a meter. So the only way to do this is with a meter. So hope you guys enjoy this kind of content. I try to do this as I go in video instead of doing it without videos. So hopefully this teaches somebody something. Let me get everything set up real quick. So what I'm gonna do is the same as I've always done if you watch my other videos with testing and also keep in mind that the port was really small if you saw the demo video and all the other concept stuff before, where you could see it play the really good lows, but it lost a lot of output on the high end, which made me meter a lot lower. So that means a bigger port area helped on the meter, which in the long run is all about numbers. But at the same time, if you think about it with your system, you want good numbers in order for you to have better demo music, just in general when you're playing in your system. So, all right, I'm gonna switch phones real quick. I forgot about that. So I'm using my current phone that's actually recording for where I need the meter. So let me do that real quick. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I accidentally had my recording phone as my meter. So I have a phone that has the meter on it that's linked to my SPL meter. So I'll make sure I find my sweep. So this is all gonna be sealed. So I'm gonna be having it with the window up for these meter scores at 20 volume. Yep, volume 20. All right. And we're going to find out what the meter is original before we start taking some wood out. And of course, if you have questions ever, let me know. I'll be glad to help with anything. Here we go. Of course, I peak below 40 hertz. So let me go back to 30. So I was peaking at 36 hertz sealed. Look at that, below 40 hertz. But think about it. I only metered her 142.6 at 36 hertz when I metered it. So I went down over 3 to 4 dB with that. So that is a 3 to 4, almost a 5 dB loss, I would say, on music if I was to keep it the way it is. But I would drop my peak frequency 10 hertz and I can play 15 hertz lower than before. But I'm looking for a little bit more output since I'm not going to be playing 15 hertz on music. All right, so I got my peak, 36 hertz. I got my number. So I took a screenshot of that. Let me make sure and confirm before I go forward. All right, so yep. I got my score, 17.69. So here we go. So remember this concept in your own build too if you got a meter, guys. So I'm going to keep the vehicle on just to have it. So I'm going to get in the back and tweak my port. Pretty much open it up, take some wood out, and see where it gets from there. All right, I got a mess back here, but all of my tools are needed. And of course, I didn't have everything pre-planned. I'm just doing it as I go. So there we go. All right, so what I'm about to do is take my tape off. Some of the tape, I only tape the front end, not the back. So what I'm gonna do is take the port out and adjust it. So all I'm gonna do is literally just take a piece of wood out and then add the PVC over it real quick and see how it does different. And let's hope for a gain. And it's gonna gain just because I know how the box works, but this is the concept of adding too much wood and then doing removal. And doing a removal process instead of an add process, so you can kind of see how the results alter. And this is the same concept for any build when it comes to this kind of stuff. Is if your port's too small, you're gonna see what happens when your port's too small and then how it differs with the change. So a port being too small offers more lows, but you lose a lot of output. I mean, 3 or 4 dB might not seem like a lot to some people, but if you know how decibels work, that's actually quite a bit, if you want me to be completely honest. So, all right, so let's get this out real quick. All I did was zip a couple screws in there. If you all like these kind of videos, let me know. I try to keep it really dummy proof. It's not the best, but it works. Not the prettiest, but it works, so same concept. I got one more screw in there. So anytime you put screws in your wood, you kind of can't. You're gonna be able to patch them later, so you kind of just have to work with it. So I took that out. So this is what I did here. Just a 2x4. with the length and a 5-inch PVC roundover cut in half and then screwed in place. And that's all it was. So now I currently have 1, 2, 3 plus the 4, so I currently have 4 pieces of 2x4. So now I'm going to go ahead and take one of these out and then see how it does again. All right, so I got some screws to take out on the other end real quick before I go any farther. One thing I wanted to mention, guys, if you are a no-wall build and you have no clue of what to do with your port because it's a single size already, you honestly aren't going to be able to do much more than add wood if you already have it to the maximum. So you really aren't going to be able to know as a ported cut case scenario on, hey, do I need to add wood or remove without testing? So the only way to know is really just to do small, thin gauge pieces of wood, maybe like 1/2-inch wood, or add a piece of MDF in there, just a piece to slide in there. Say this is your port. Just slide a piece of block in there for the length of the port, this wide, just one little 3/4 inch, and see if that changes your results. If you go up or down. If you go up, then that means you need to shrink. If you go down, you don't guarantee you're going down until you try it 3 or 4 different variations, because SPL is weird. You got to try more than one way to find out your results. All right, I think this is it right here. Yep. So I hope that made sense with the ported enclosure, because a lot of boxes, the way I have my box designed, I knew how it works to be able to tweak it as I go. But a lot of boxes, you're not able to tweak it after you made it pretty, because a lot of people make it pretty and don't think about the tuning. But that's the first thing you got to think about, is pretty comes later. You can make it pretty later. You want to first focus on the priority of getting it where you want it, meaning retuning, because tuning is big. All right, got that out, piece of wood out. So now I'm just going to slide this in. All right, that slid in. So I'm not going to worry too much about holding it in. I'm just going to put one screw at the top. That should be good enough to hold it for now. Once I get everything finalized, then I'll put the screw in place. So let me tighten this real quick. There we go. So that works just like that. So a couple pieces of tape, I scrapped that tape. I got extra tape anyway. And make sure everything's the same in the back when I do my tests. So the only thing different was the port length. Look at the difference. Literally 1.5 inch width of that 2x4. It says 2x4, but it's really 1.5 inches. So it's actually not 2 inches. All right, so I got that out. Screws out, all of that, good. Let me put the screws in here, the tape, excess stuff. All right, now to see how it does. And hope you guys like this so far. All right, no editing, no cutting anything out. Meter's still on because I had it linked to the phone. Vehicle's still on. All right, let's see. So, just so we can remember a backflash, 17.69, and we're about to find out where it went to by opening that up. Sorry about that. I had to read. It's not 40 hertz, so we'll find out. It is 40 hertz. All right, so 40 hertz. That's a good score, to be honest. So I went up 4 frequencies just by doing that port adjustment with the wood. And I went up almost 2 dBs if I remember right. Yep, 17.69 to 19.61, 17, 18, 19. So yep, 1.9 dBs just by that port adjustment. So that means realistically right now, without going full tilt, if I was at a 42.5, 43, 44.5, so realistically right now, if I meter, it'll be a guaranteed at least 2 dBs louder. It could be more, especially at higher volumes. So depending on how pressure works. So at least a 144 to 145 right now with the single 10. All right, so I got that score. 19.61, 19.61, 19.61. All right, so now I'm going to go in here and open it up even more. So this is where it gets pretty tricky, because I'm gonna end up being close to the same number. Most likely, maybe not. You never know. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna grab my tool, is take it out still and just see what happens. So let me take some of this tape out. If you guys got suggestions for other things as well, feel free to comment whether I'll use it or others might use it. So it's good to give feedback on this stuff. So I really appreciate you guys always giving me feedback. I always use it too. I wouldn't have known all of this without trial and error. So you learn as you go. The only way to learn is to do it yourself. You're not going to learn by letting others do it for you. Especially this kind of stuff, because it's really tedious work and time consuming. But it's a fun project for me, so. All right, let's take this wood out. There we go. So, got that out. So, I honestly don't know if I'll gain too much. I most likely will, because my port before was about that wide, and my hand could go over it and like that. So it's close to the same. Around 60 to 70 square inches of port for the 10 was where I was at. So it was right around 80% cone area, which is really peaky. It made it really peaky and unload easily. All right, but it works. I had 2 screws in each piece of wood. So this is the concept of port adjustment from opening it up, not closing it out. Trying to keep all that dust out since it's really smooth and clean in there right now. So, and remember my subsonic, I didn't show that. Subsonic is here. So it was slightly lower than it was before. I had it at 12 o'clock before. So that could have affected about half a dB, but it won't matter when you're doing testing as long as your settings are always the same. So that's a key note real quick there for you guys, is to always do the same settings for your tests. Don't change anything between tests. So, all right. So you see how it's wiggling a little bit? So I'm not gonna risk that. So I'm gonna put a screw in here diagonally, right there. Hold it tight. That's all it is right there. That works. Right on the money. So I took out one more piece of wood. And my port area looks about right now, to be honest. That actually looks good. I can almost poke my head in there. My hand isn't tight. And it's looking like around, I'm gonna say, 60 square inches of port. So looks about right. Hopefully I gain there. We'll see. Stay tuned. All right, put this back in here. As I take it out, I'll get it when I need it. Go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't. All right, and this is going to be part 2, so I'll see you tomorrow for part 2.